what I'm looking for from this assignment is a game environment asset pack, and your task is to develop modular assets that can be used to construct an engaging and visually cohesive game environment. So we're not making a scene for an animated movie. This is a game environment, and that's why I want it to be modular, as in quickly scaled up. You know modular design means? Can you say it in one sentence? Peter, you look like you have it. Exactly. Yeah. Modular, and then you can repeat the same assets but change ever so slightly. Doesn't just refer to game design. In product design and UX, everything is designed in modules. Doesn't just refer to 3D models as well. So in a UX company, something like Starbucks, if you joined as a developer, they would give you their design system, their pattern library, their creative expression pack. And what this does is gives you rules about their brand identity. So there's their creative expression. It gives you all the rules about their logos, what logos they use, their colors, so what colors they use, very specific. Can you guess? Of course, Starbucks green is their favorite color. So any new developer that joins and starts building modules, they can't just start picking random greens out of nowhere. They have to use Starbucks green. Similarly, if they're writing content for it, there is a structure for that as well. This isn't the same as modules, but it gives you examples of the voice, as in how they speak to their audience. They like to do a blend of functional and expressive. So functional gives the information, expressive be friendly about it. If you're joining as a developer, they give you the developer modules, and you'll see how they code their individual assets, and that code will be modular, as in repeated. You could repeat that structure again and again throughout the design. Modular also refers to toys. Can you think of a modular toy? That is exactly it. Lego is a modular toy. Lots of interchangeable modules that can be the same and recombined into new shapes. So you're making 3D Lego. So for the details, I haven't set any rules like in previous ones. I was saying, oh, it should match the style of something else, it should fit the world. You can pick a completely new type of thematic environment, or you can expand along what you built in the MechWarrior assignment. You could build an environment that fits that. Totally up to you. What I'm looking for is the environment using modular assets that can be reused in various configurations. You must model your props and assets yourself. Some assets will be modular, some assets will be more unique. If you think of an example of a throne room might have 50 chairs in it, but it only have one throne. That would be the unique item. If you're making a wizard study, there will be walls and tables and doorways that would be modular. Then maybe a crystal ball would be something unique in that room. We call those focal points in game design. Hello. Ah, great that you asked that question. I was going to say, please do not ask me the question, how big does it need to be? My answer is F off, pal. Everyone asks this question. What do you expect me to say? 10 foot by 10 foot? 20 foot by 20 foot? Would you call a room an environment? Your own decision. I'm going to say the point of making modular assets is that you can display how something can be made larger and something can be made smaller. So obviously with your modular assets, you can make a perfectly square room. Is that a good enough use, a good enough display of how modular your assets are? I'll leave that up to you. Don't ask me how big it's supposed to be. What level of detail you're expecting. That is for you to decide. Hello. You can, but since I'm not covering Unity implementation in season 2, it's not a requirement, but go for it, by all means. So yeah, I'm just looking for the final configuration in Blender. So really, I'm looking for two scenes. I want a scene with your individual modules broken out, and a scene displaying the full environment, or as good as an environment as you want to display. With lighting. And again, the translation from Blender to Unity lighting is different. You'll notice everything's much brighter in Unity when we get there. Slightly different way of handling lights. So yep, consistency again. The assets should, especially in environments, should look like they belong to the same world because they are the world. I want to see the modular assets individually first and demonstrate them in a demo scene also. And if possible, a rendered fly-through, a walkthrough of the level would be beneficial. Finn?
Is there like a minimum requirement of like assets you have to make?
Nope. So I have removed Substance Designer. We just won't have time to even look at it this year. So next semester, Substance Designer, the only requirements are Substance Painter or Blender, and you could do it all in Blender if you choose. So what I'm looking for, a little report talking about the world itself, what the type of game it is, giving you a little bit of context for what I'm looking at, your design and thought process as you went through, any sketches, any things you created on the way, things that didn't work. A blend file with the modular environments, rendered images of the environment so I can just get a quick glance, and video render, camera fly through. And then broken down into the rubrics there. Topology, materials, consistency, the final environment, and the PDF report. So, the design theory that subdivides a system into smaller parts or modules replaced or exchanged between different systems. That's from Papa Wikipedia. And what you do is you establish a kind of unit scale for your modules. And we're going to do that today. We're going to establish a simple unit scale. And then every new module you create obeys that unit scale. So if this set is set to, say, 4 meters across, 4 meters up, every new asset you create, every door, every piece of wall is going to fit into that evenly. The main thing about modular environment design is that everything lines up perfectly. You won't get away with the kind of like, you don't want to ever be in Unity edging things together and trying to snap things together. Even though Unity now has a nice vector snap tool, I don't think I started using that. Really good. Years overdue. Never need to do this tiny. But if you're hired as an environment modeler, you won't get away with making things that are, oh, it's this one's 1.85 meters long, this one's 2.2. No, you need to standardize. And I've included just a short, well, it's a video, it's a guy going through Maya, and this is just, what he does is he goes through a reference image and breaks down what each piece.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to think what this house is made of and separate it into pieces. I'm going to ignore the roof for now, and I'm just going to focus on this area. So the main part is it has this square level here. It has a window that's here. It has some sort of bars going on this side, and it has a door. So this is this square part and the things it's made of. Besides that, we also have these pillars. They're on the sides of this house. And that's the main part of the first level, actually. So we just have our main body. We have a door. We have a window. We have these front pieces that go on the front. And that's it. That's the first part. And we also have these pillars. And those are those areas. Not all ink. Let's just erase these bits so we can see a bit better. So this is the main part of this section of the house. a lot less complicated, right? This is very difficult to look at. If you just pick it apart into pieces, it becomes a lot simpler. A block with a door and a window, a front, I don't know what this is called, separator, and a pillar. That's it. That's all the individual pieces of this lower part. Now let's look at this part. We have this whole kind of little piece of roof that's here, and we can probably separate this into maybe 3 pieces. So we have this section, which is one end. We have the other end, but they're the same. And we have these middle pieces. And these middle pieces we could probably break up into sections of 3. And these 3 sections also seem to have 3 layers. So they seem to have like a log, or actually this isn't a log really, is it? It's more like a log tile, like this. And then underneath it, there's in between, there seems to be another log connected to something. And then there seems to be another one underneath. This is very, or actually, how about this? Something like this that has a circle pattern, and underneath there seems to be another log. Now this is a little problematic because cylinders take up a lot of detail, and they're kind of hard to work with. So we're gonna have to figure out something clever about working with this part. But essentially this is really all the shape is. It's just a tile with a plank and another log underneath. So we'll figure out something about that. That's this whole section. Let's just make the edge as well. What's the edge made of? The edge seems to be a circle, a line, and a line. So it's something like this, and something like that. Boom, boom. Something like that. So this is all that's on this side. And then we have this area. Now this top part of the roof is a little more complicated because we have this section, which is just essentially a triangle that goes this way. Also, we don't really see anything from under here. We don't see anything underneath because let's assume that we're always going to look at it from above. And also, we don't see any other part of this. So essentially, this is just a triangle.
So, I'll stop it there. I didn't need to go further. He basically goes through in the same fashion, starts isolating and breaking things down. Taking something that looks very complicated, but you know from texturing how much heavy lifting texturing does to make a model look much more detailed and impressive than it is. So he breaks it down, and there's a whole video series you can follow through to see how he gets to the model. That's a modular prop, not a modular environment. The point is that he gets it down to about, I think, about 10 different pieces. You end up having to model 10 different models and then putting them together. You can obviously see where the duplication is going to happen because there's this repeating structures, repeating elements. Obviously, we make one of them and we repeat it and then go through. So, back today, let's open up Blender. What we're going to do is do a bit of block out and learn how to respect our grid, obey our grid. So open up Blender. What just happened? Sorry guys, solstice problems. Going back to the wire. Great stuff. Okay, so we're in Blender. So we're going to rely pretty heavily on the grid. Everything we create is going to snap to the grid. So rely a lot on snapping to the increments of the grid itself, as well as using snap to edge occasionally. So a couple of different snaps. I'm just going to enable that. And I want to make sure I'm also affecting rotate as well. Okay, I can create my first module from this cube, or we can delete it. If you are suspicious about the default cube, you can delete it and add it again. Some people are. It's not a good look. And then what I want to do is, now that I have snap on, I'm just going to pull this up so it's sitting on my world floor. Move it up one. And then what I want to do is apply my transforms to this to keep my origin at the center of the world. And with every module I create, the origin point will always be kept at this center. It's going to be consistent for every single module. Again, helps us when we're setting things up in different software. Also helps us in this software just to put things together. So to apply transforms, we go to Object, Apply, All Transforms. And since we're probably going to do this a lot, I might add this to a quick favorite while I'm here. So all transforms, you can apply that. To apply it to add to your quick favorites, your Q menu, just right click. Add to quick fave. Add to quick favorites. And then with the Q menu, you can bring it up. So you can do that with any shortcut, anything you end up using quite a lot. You can add that to your little quick menu. Then I press Q, and there it is. There's my quick favorite. Yep. And I'll do it with something else, because a lot of people don't have numpads, and the frame selected is very useful, zooming in and framing. Just right click on anything, and add it to your quick favorites. Frame selected, add the quick favorites. With the transforms one, it's in apply. All transforms, add that to quick favorite. Just right click and add. Which is your Q menu, your quicks. Okay, so our first module will be a wall, a section of wall. I'll jump into edit mode on this. And we'll give ourselves a wall of about 4 meters tall, quite large. What I'm going to do is just grab the top face here, get into my move mode. I'm going to see with snap on, if I'm zoomed in, I'm getting to the 10th increments of the grid. And each grid square is 1 meter. If I zoom out and I can no longer see those, it'll snap just to the grid lines. I just brought that top face up 2 meters. So our first module will be a 2x4, as in 2 meters at the base, 4 meters going up. And then for the thickness, I'm just going to jump into the top view here. Top orthographic. Oh, and I should have selected the face I wanted before I did that, but whatever. So yeah, I'm just going to grab this face here on the front, facing the y-axis, and just bring it in top view. So I'm leaving like 2 sub increments here. I'll do the same with the other face, just bring it in this way. I am. The whole thing, including the explanation of the task. Explain. Yeah. Okay. So, can you do it and show me? No, you do it and show me. Great. If that works and it's not, messing up the world scale, then yeah, no problem. There are many, many ways to do the same thing in Blender. This is but one. So, have you ended up with a result of this? This is my top view. I've got 2 little cubes, as in, what's a 10th of a meter? 100 centimeters, so 200, 400 centimeters thick. Flat balance method, yes. But apply your transforms. And here we have our module, our finished wall module. A little bit too thin for external doors, but internal walls will be just fine. Everything we built from this initial module. Let's save our file. Modular blocking is the name of this file. Okay, back to object mode. I'm just going to duplicate this and move to the side. So this is our thin module. Oh, Shift D, and you'll see I'm locked in to snap mode, which is nice. I'm just going to press X, lock it on the X axis, and move it over here. Now, if we needed a larger wall section, of course, we could just make a duplicate. I'd probably do it in edit mode and start duplicating along. If you needed, for example, something larger and longer, you could create a double wall or a triple wall or a quad wall. What you don't do is just start creating random size walls to fit gaps. You should always be fitting within this same initial scale. Just to answer the question someone might have, does every single wall have to be this 1 2-meter section? No, you can make larger ones, just make sure they're fitting in to the same scale and they always have the origin at the center. This is also beneficial when we're adding modifiers, we're doing symmetrical modeling, that kind of stuff. We're adding new things. Everything should have that same origin point to make it faster for you to model. And then yes, something like this, a larger wall, we wouldn't keep those extra faces in the middle. We do a bit of cleanup. Mesh, cleanup. Merge by distance. We've done this once or twice before, but basically it's going to take anywhere that there's vertex sitting in exactly the same place or really, really close. Like these vertex here are right on top of each other. And because we're using snap and not shaky measurements, they are exactly on top of each other. If I say cleanup, merge my distance, and it's removed 4 vertices, it still kept that face in the middle, but I can remove that, X. Well, no, you can do it in object mode and then join them together or keep them separate, that kind of thing. We have the ability to join. Hello. Sorry, great, go on. Yeah, anything we make, we want to keep that origin point in the center. Hello. Good idea. Good idea. I just wanted to show that merge by distance. But yes, that would also work. Dissolve, X, pow, gone. Now we've got a double wall, but it's exactly double that, and it is a double. When we do triples, it'll be a triple. Okay, so I'll keep those off to the side. We can work on our next module. I did. So, on this next identical module, we're going to make our door. So I'm going to fit my door inside of this. So obviously a door would fit in here. 4 meters is a huge amount of space. What's your average door size? Like 2.5? That's the standard. 2.5 to 3. So I'm going to jump into edit mode on this. And I'm going to add a loop cut. I'll use Control or for this, simply because it gives me a little bit more freedom in how to place it. It gives you the macro version of loop cut. And I'm going to put one in the center, and then I click and hold, and it will snap to my increments. roughly a door should be about 3/4 of the way up. I'll say about the center here. Well, not the center. And let us add a loop cut in the center here also. So one loop cut. I'll add a loop cut in the center as well, splitting it in half. And then I'll jump into vertex select, wireframe mode. And I'm just going to select these on the right side here. And delete them. X, delete vertices. Yo, you got it. Mirror modifier for the win. So let's add a mirror. Enable clipping, why not? We're going to add yet another loop cut in the middle here. So we're going to decide how big or small our door is going to be, how much space. So we're creating the doorway, I should say. Something like that looks about right to me. So I'll add a loop cut. And you can mess with the slide afterwards if you want. I think about that looks right. Switch to face select, number 3. I'll just grab the faces on either side and delete them. There's also a face on the bottom we have to get rid of. X, delete faces. And then we're just going to bridge the gaps. Unfortunately, we can't use the bridge method because we're using mirror modifier. It's not a closed shape. So we're just going to do it face by face with F to fill. But delete those faces, and now we have our gap. I'll turn off X-ray. You see there's that face on the bottom. We can delete that one as well. And then just create our bridge going edge to edge, pressing F to fill. Oops. F. And since this is perfectly straight, we can actually move. We don't need to edge slide if we want to adjust that anymore, if you're not happy with how your door is looking. But just keep it on snap so we're not using crazy numbers, crazy integers. We're going up in tenths. So depending on what you need for your door. Actually, would edge slide even work? Oh yeah, edge slide, different results. And when you're happy with that, we can leave edit mode. Save your blocking. We'll just move this over. Next module will be essential for creating a room. What do you think it is? 1 billion points. He's got 1 billion points, Ava. It is a corner. We need a corner if we're ever going to turn a corner and make the right decision in life. Now, so let's take another of our initial corner pieces, the initial mini boy, duplicate it and bring it back to the center. I wish Unity and Blender would have a meeting about what the duplicate button is. Is it Shift D? Is it Control D? Just pick one and stick to it. Oh. Oh dear. Somehow my origin point is all wrong in all of these. Oh. How do I fix it? 2 billion points. Yes. Quick menu. Reset all transforms. And I'm going to need to do that for all 3 of these pieces. I'm going to move them back to the center and reset their transforms. Q. Quick menu. And my big wall. Q. That could have been embarrassing. All right, they're all at the bottom of their respective area. Nice. Okay, so for the corner unit, we're going to need 2 walls, so we'll make another duplicate. Control D, Shift D. God damn you, Unity. And we're just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Move it so it's sitting at the appropriate corner part. And with snap, that's about as good as it's going to get. But that's exactly what we want. We want it to obey the grid, respect the grid. Now, we don't want this ugly join the way it is. let's jump into edit mode. I jumped in with both selected. I'm not sure if you realize that. You can select two objects at once and jump into edit mode. Same with animation. You can select two animatable characters together and animate them together. Doesn't seem like a revelation, but for a long time you couldn't do that, making fight scenes very difficult. Anyway, so we need these two edges here to conform together. I'll get into face select. And if I just do rotate and rotate on the Z by 45 degrees, we're going to get some issues. You see, because of the properties of vector distance, now that we rotated this, it's actually pulled it down and created a pinch in here. So rotate is not the tool for this. We need another tool called shear. Shear right down here. Shear selected items along a given axis, but what's important about it is it doesn't affect volumes. So we can shear and change angles of faces and it won't affect the surrounding volume. Has a confusing looking gizmo, and I guarantee I'm going to pick the wrong handle first, but let's just try them all. So there's the handle I think it's going to be. It is not that one. Here's the handle it also might be. It is not that one. There is the handle I want. That one. And it doesn't matter how many times you use this tool, you can open it up and try the wrong one first. There's nothing wrong with that. Best way to learn something is to make an absolute show of yourself first. Anyway, so I'm just going to bring that up, and you'll notice I'm not getting radians. What I want is a value of 1, because 1 is going to be between rotations. Right now I've got a 1.2 operator panel, or operator panel is my friend. Change that to exactly 1. And if I look at it in the Z, the top view, I mean, there is my nice angle. We'll do the same thing on the other side, but the value is going to be -1 because it's rotating the opposite direction, it's shearing the opposite direction. So I'll select this other face. I'll grab the handle. I think it's this one. Nope. No. There we go. Oh, this time it was that handle. Yeah, interesting. And there I am eyeballing it. I got it into within 0.015. I just changed that to a -1. I can run through that again if people need it. Shear. Okay, a useful tool for exactly this reason. Okay, our coordinate unit is finished. Let's join the two pieces together and then get rid of our extra unneeded geometry. So I'll grab first piece and second piece, object join, Control J. And then back into edit mode now that I've joined them together. As you'll see, there's some extra geometry here. If I grab this one vertex, actually I'll leave and just move it around. You see there's extra geometry here we don't need. Again, I'll do the merge by distance first, and then we can remove that internal face. I just want to get rid of the duplicate verts and then start deleting. Make sure it's fused together before I start dissolving faces or edges. And I should have said that when I was doing the bigger wall. You need to do merge by distance first to fuse those vertex together before you can dissolve it. Otherwise, they'll still be two separate mesh objects. So merge by distance is in mesh. Clean up, merge by distance. And you'll see how many you've merged on the bottom. Here we go. I removed 4. Obviously, there were 4 overlapping with 4 other ones where we joined. Then I just have an internal face to get rid of. This one, hiding there. And even though this is just a face, it's not going to take up any memory. You're not saving memory. What you are saving is a hassle when you texture later. And you're like, where's this thing for? What am I unwrapping? Oh, wait, it's inside a wall. Nobody will ever see it. So you don't need that. Delete face. And it's gone. There we go. Model almost complete. We just have one little issue to resolve, which I can demonstrate right here with duplicates. So if I Shift D and duplicate this out and rotate this on the Z, oh, that actually lines up pretty well. There we go. But then we get issues up here. We're trying to line things up, and it's not exact. So the origin point being the center of this wall makes sense if the module was just this wall, but at a corner point, it makes more sense to have the origin at the corner. So we can rotate around that. It also means, well, not just more sense, things will always fit. Whereas here we're getting some kind of distance. Oh, actually, it's worked out pretty well. So in edit mode, I'm just going to select everything and move it over one step to the right. And that'll be our corner piece ready, pretty much. In block form, obviously not in detail form. We haven't detailed this up. I'll move these over here. Last module we'll make is a window single, as in using a single one of our modular assets to make a window. I'll duplicate a singular asset and bring it back to center. And similar to the door, we're going to use loop cuts. So first I'll add a central loop cut and delete half. Central loop cut. Then grab half of the vertex and delete. Well, actually, I probably should make my window cuts before I delete this. I won't be able to loop afterwards. Yeah, so actually, let's make our loop cuts top and bottom. I'll say bottom loop cut. Let's say along the thicker line. Ooh. And with loop cuts, you have to be careful. They don't always snap to the grid lines. You might have to adjust later because they're just dividing up the remaining space. So I'm actually going to edge slide this down ever so slightly. So it's just on one of the sub grid lines or main grid lines. Edge slide. In this case, I could just move it down, but just so you know where it is, edge slide. Oop, and turn off snap for this because we've gone out of our grid. So sometimes you'll need to get in and do things without snap. Okay, now I can start deleting the half. X, delete vertex. Add your mirror modifier. I always enable clipping. I wanted to clip at the center, meaning fuse together. And then much like before, another loop cut in the center. Oh, and I have snap off. Turn snap back on. And then, much the same, delete those central faces, create the gap, X faces, and then make the bridge between the edges. 1, 2, F. 1, 2, F. 1, 2, F. And there is our first single window. So when you're happy enough with your shape, apply your mirror modifier. I'll actually make sure I applied that to the doorway as well. I didn't, so I'm going to do that. And just for the heck, I'm just going to name all my modules. And from this point out, you can just start blocking out your level and start figuring what the shapes are. You have all the pieces. Or Z90 GY. With Snap-on, everything's going to fit very nicely together. You can start building upper levels. Oh, I'll bring my window into the mix. Construction becomes a bit faster. You can start building your corridors, your corners, your rooms. The roof can get a whole lot bigger. And if you create linked duplicates, like I've just done here with Alt-D, you can have modules that update automatically as you go through. And I'm pretty sure you can set different data sets to be linked duplicates as well. I can't find the shortcut, but anyway, Alt-D is linked duplicate. We did it before, I believe, when we were making Cupbot. We did some linked duplicate just to make them share the same materials. But that is a linked duplicate of this module. It could be a quick way of making, say, have a master component set, and then you have everything blocked out, and you quickly replace it with linked duplicates, and you can just update the models here and update throughout. It creates a linked duplicate, which is this is my linked duplicate right here. And anything I change over here in this one, say I bevel this, is going to be reflected in the other module. All the materials are shared as well, so it'll update automatically. So if you have it set up correctly with like you're blocking out, you can have everything blocked out and simple and then work it over with detail and it'll all update the environment for you. There we go. Duplicate linked right here.